I didn't know that would start it holding your hand up like that.
I didn't either. I thought that was only good for photos.
We're still figuring out, we have Samsung 23, we're still figuring out all this new technology, quote unquote. It's not that new to us, but being Gen X. But
I find that funny too because you and I are big into listening to videos online, and we've always talked about ideas, and we've tried to put up our own content in the past for half a second. But today's actually the first day we're
trying it.
Yeah.
So
we're behind.
All kinds of millions of thoughts and questions and things to cover to help you guys out or to discuss with you in the comments, or as I saw recently, people call it the chat. So, okay, chat. With all these, what's the best diet is a common thing people ask. And through the years, I've come upon my own. I've done all kinds of different diets. So has Sharon. And kind of where I'm at now is, of course, the best diet for you to be in health or lose weight, whatever it is if you found something that works for you, great. But there's a lot of things like the sugar fasting from Cole Robinson, or some people are calling it the sugar diet, when it shouldn't be called the sugar diet, it should be called sugar fasting. But there's a nutritarian diet, there's a carnivore diet, all these things. But in a lot of these diets, none of them really limit you to how much you eat, or they say eat all you want or eat till you're stuffed. But some of us, me included, I could just eat and eat and eat because it's fun to eat. I like eating and relaxing after a day of work. So for me, I found that I still haven't been successful with it yet, but limiting the calories, kind of regardless of what you eat, is the way to go. Is one way to go, because the Bible also talks about gluttony, or which is just overeating. You know, Jesus said in Matthew, life is more than food, and it's the overeating that is causing a lot of the sicknesses, illnesses, and diseases we have. And if people would just bring in some form of fasting into their life, then there'd probably be a lot less problems. And I say fasting because I'm going all over the place. God made the body to work a certain way. You know, God made the world, there's gravity. You can't see it, but you jump up or throw something off of a height or a building, it's gonna fall. There's no way around it. So you have to work how God said things should work, and not be eating all the time, and that gives your body opportunities to heal itself.
So that's very interesting, Doug. You initiated the conversation with the question of what diet should a person be on, and then you qualified your thoughts by saying it's just a matter of we shouldn't be eating so much all the time, and introducing a practice of not eating so much, so frequently, fast some. Those are good thoughts. Like Doug said, since I was a very young teenager, adolescent, I've been dieting, whether it was the lemon, cayenne lemon cleanse, or some form of fasting, which I've found there's pros and cons to, in the fact that you're introducing that period of not eating, so rest. It's a form of rest. On the other hand, you are introducing chronic dieting into your life. And now that I'm 50, looking back, the negative side to that is I have trained my mind and emotions that I rely on the diet to offset my overeating. So this whole concept of it's not what diet you're doing, it's just tackle your overeating. I never tackled the overeating.
Mm-hmm.
So I always, from the time I was young, I always, in the back of my mind, I thought, whatever I eat, however much it gets away on me, I can always do a lemon cleanse and maintain my body weight, how I look, the clothes. I don't have to buy a whole new wardrobe all the time. And I can still be comfortable in my body. All these things I can manage with, I'll just go on a quick 10-day lemon cleanse. Which, like you're bringing up in the conversation, is the problem. I never tackled the overeating and why do I overeat. So it's an interesting reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought up Cole Robinson and the sugar fast, implying that there are many other types of fasts out there that a person could consider. Maybe you've looked at the internet and you've encountered what? Carnivore, keto.
Right. And when I say fasting, it doesn't have to be a big 40-day, 20-day, 7-day, or even 1-day fast. It's just a period, as Sharon said, of rest, of not eating. There's a guy that even did the Twinkie diet, and his health markers improved. He tracked his calories. So if I'm able to see how many calories I should be eating per day to maintain my weight or lose weight, and don't go over that number, then I don't have to be so concerned about what I eat or don't eat. I can still have the pizza and ice cream, but the trade-off is once I have that, I'm not going to be eating anything the rest of the day because I've reached my caloric limit. So
I think the problem with that I'd have to counter, though, maybe with your personality and idiosyncrasies, you're okay with introducing calorie counting. My personality and idiosyncrasies, my history of dieting is that calorie counting introduces a stress and anxiety into my day that is not helpful. If I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying you can use calorie counting as a way of setting a boundary for yourself so you're not overeating. I think the way you began the conversation was introducing the concept of let's try not to eat so much all the time. Let's, instead of just dieting, let's introduce the concept of let's not use food to constantly eat, overeat, indulge. Let's have a state of quiet rest in the digestion and all this. And you're using calorie counting to put a boundary on yourself. Am I understanding correctly?
yes, for me personally, that's what I'm doing, because even in these healthy carnivore, nutritarian diet, I've done them, but I still overate on them, even though it's probably beneficial for me health-wise, but I didn't lose any weight on them because I was still overeating. And in our culture of abundance, we're going to have some form of restriction. Whether the sugar fast says you don't eat any protein or fat, or you keep it very low. The carnivore diet, you're not eating any carbs. Nutritarian diet, you're not eating any junk food, just whole foods. And there's other kinds of diets I'm not aware of, but you're going to have to restrict yourself in some way, shape, fashion, or form.
Now that's true. As I've been working through all these types of diets unsuccessfully, I have come to that same conclusion. Even though I don't like the concept of restriction, when the rubber hits the road, that's exactly what it is. Even when you consider the concept of, I'm not going to diet, I'm just going to not overeat all the time. How do you do that? How do you not overeat all the time? And the basis of that concept is restriction. So at some point, as you grapple with why am I overeating? The whys, the how comes, what brought me here. At some level, there is a restriction necessary where you're going to say no to yourself. I haven't successfully come to a place yet where I can say no to myself over the course of many, many days and weeks without a repercussion. It's this inner level of stress and anxiety that builds and builds and builds. So I say no to the pint of ice cream today. Tomorrow I say I can have a personal size pizza, but I'm going to say no to myself for that 2-person pizza. Somehow the no's build this internal anxiety where then I just bust the seams and spend my month's grocery shopping budget on tomorrow's meal, and haven't figured out how to get beyond that. It's such a complex question, isn't it?
Yes, a lot of the doctors and people, and even Cole, which I think he misses the mark on this part, but they say don't eat unless you're hungry. But with processed foods, and not only that, it's just a lot of people don't know what is real hunger. I mean, I'm not hungry at all right now, but it's a day off of work. I could watch movies or something. I'll go to the grocery store, get some food while I'm watching the movie. Even though I could watch the movie without the food, it's not going to change the movie, whether I'm eating or not. But that's just our natures.
The concept of that you just brought up, that what is hunger, and don't eat unless you're hungry, I think I would agree with you. It's how I've trained myself to be. I would say based on my family environment, my social environment in North America, we're trained not to ask ourselves, am I hungry? And that be the basis of if I should get more. We've trained ourselves to ask, how do I want to relax? How do I want to de-stress?
The grocery store.
And yes. And then also, love is not restricting each other. As a child, when I was with grandma, or when mom was really showing her love, have seconds, have thirds. And the concept of open table, have as much as you want, was the message was, I love you. Feel comfortable to eat as much as you want. And that developed this concept of, if I love myself, I won't put a restriction on myself. I'll eat as much as I want. And the concept of as much as I want was only determined by how sick I'm feeling. I only stop because I'm just drastically sick from how stuffed I am. So much sugar and glucose in my system, I've succumbed to a sugar coma.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Even trying the sugar fast, sure it's effective, and I work a kind of a physical job. I noticed, I think, maybe it's too early to tell, some benefits from it, but I didn't mention, I was talking about calories earlier, and there's a lot of calculators online that could give the incorrect information. It's just a guess how many calories somebody should be eating. So there's two ways you can go about this. One way you could pay, there's an app called Macro Factor. It figures out how many calories you expend per day. Probably takes a few weeks as you log your morning weight and the food that you eat through the day. It'll figure it out. And it has a lot of data, charts, and statistics you can look at, to help you figure out what's going on. If you didn't want to pay any money, you could use ChatGPT and log the same information, and it'll eventually come up with the number that's your weight maintenance, and you cut off a little bit from that and lose some weight from there.
But I have to say that this whole concept of weight loss, I feel like all my life it's been about maintaining or losing weight. How do I not gain weight? How do I lose weight? And it's been so exhausting, where every waking minute, every thought is about food, not eating, or how to eat or how not to eat, where that seems to be a lot of the conversation between you and I from the time we were, together over 15 years ago. And I guess you can't help it in our society, because so much of our society is focused on food. Family is food. Relaxing is food. When we had time off together in our early years, we'd go out to eat. Everything's about food, and a natural result of that is, okay, now that I've eaten all this food through my day, through my weeks and months and my life, how do I manage my weight? That doesn't help this concept of don't overeat, and why am I overeating, and the whole, I think there's so much to this conversation. Yes, we need to find a way to manage our weight, but we also need to find a way to manage
our thoughts.
Yeah. Our decisions,
So if you have any questions or something we didn't discuss that you'd like us to branch out and discuss that, let us know in the chat. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, all that garbage that YouTube says we have to say. So we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Google.
Can you go?
It won't automatically stop, so you can start it by showing your palm, but there's no way to stop it. So I guess you're stuck watching it.